Most of us wake up in the morning, and the first thing we do is start thinking about all of our problems. These problems are tied to specific memories, and those memories are often connected to certain people, places, and things. It's like your brain is a tape recorder, playing the same cassette on repeat day after day. And here's the thing. If your brain is just a recording of the past, then when you wake up in the morning, you're already thinking and living in that past. Every memory you have is tied to an emotion, and emotions are just the result of past experiences. So when you start thinking about the problems you've had, those old memories, what happens? You begin to feel sad, angry, or even in pain. The way you think and feel is how you define your state of being. Basically, it shapes your character. And if you start your day thinking about the past, well, guess what? Eventually, your past becomes your future. Let me give you an example. Let's say something made you really angry yesterday. If you wake up today and you're still holding on to that anger, it's almost like you're carrying it with you. Now, if this happens for 2 days in a row, people around you might think, wow, you're having a bad day. If it lasts for a week, they might start to think you're just in a bad mood. And if this keeps going, anger can actually become part of who you are. You might become known as someone who's always angry. The point here is that your thoughts directly affect your destiny. And if you keep living in the past, thinking about it all the time, you'll just keep creating the same life. Without realizing it, you're repeating the same patterns over and over, patterns you might not even like. Now think about your typical day. You wake up, check your phone, read some emails or texts, maybe check the news. You're connecting to the same things over and over again. Then you go through your morning routine. You get out of bed from the same side, go to the bathroom, grab your coffee in that favorite mug, shower, get dressed, and then drive or take the same bus to work. You see the same people at work, people who push the same emotional buttons. And after work, you head home to do it all over again the next day. It starts to feel like a routine, almost like a computer program. You've lost your free will to this program. You're no longer in control. The subconscious mind is running the show. Here's something crazy. By the time we hit 35, about 95% of our personality is made up of learned behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, beliefs, and perceptions. It's all just a program. That means you might be using the other 5% of your conscious mind to say things like, I want to be healthy, happy, and free, but your body is controlled by a completely different program. So you're trying to compete with 95% of your subconscious mind, which is pretty much like trying to beat an Olympic powerlifter in a weightlifting competition. No wonder it feels so hard to change, right? You end up going back to the old program, creating the same life again and again. So how do you begin to make changes? The answer lies in going beyond your analytical mind. Your analytical mind is the barrier between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, and that's where meditation comes in. Meditation allows you to slow down your brain waves, and if you do it properly, you can start accessing the part of your mind where real, deep changes can happen. The thing is, most people wait for something big to happen, a crisis, trauma, illness, or diagnosis, before they even think about making a change. But why wait for something negative to push you? You can actually learn and make changes while you're in a state of joy and inspiration, not just when you're in pain or suffering. The sad truth is that many people spend 70% of their lives just trying to survive. They're constantly under stress, expecting the worst possible outcome based on their past experiences. This leads them to make poor choices. It's kind of like sitting at a restaurant with a menu full of options, but you pick the worst dish every single time. Whenever you remember a negative experience, you trigger the same chemical response in your brain and body as though that event is happening right now. Your body, in a way, is your subconscious. It doesn't know the difference. It believes that event is happening in the present moment. Most people end up recreating those negative emotional states just by thinking about them constantly. And when they finally want to let go of that negativity, they say, I really want to change. But here's the problem. The body is stronger than the mind. The body has been conditioned to feel those negative emotions for years. What once was the servant is now the master. When you decide to change, when you step into the unknown, your body resists. It would rather stick with guilt and suffering because that's what's familiar and predictable. The unknown is scary for your body. It's like stepping into a deep river. The body knows that if you manage to make it to the other side, it'll be different. And the body will do everything it can to prevent you from crossing. So when you start meditating, your nose might itch. You might suddenly remember something you have to do, or an old memory might pop up. That's your body trying to stop you, trying to pull you back to your old miserable life. The body has all sorts of tricks, and it will use them all to keep you from entering the unknown. But the unknown, that's where you create your future. And the easiest way to enter the unknown is through meditation. Once you get into a deep meditative state, you can start to create your future. What kind of life do you want? What kind of person do you want to be? The most effective way to create your future is by mentally rehearsing the things you want in your life. If you're truly present, your brain won't know the difference between a real experience and something you're imagining. By using your imagination, you're installing mental programs that will shape your future. Your brain stops being just a recorder of the past, and it starts becoming a map for your future. Now, if you stick with this, you might even begin to act like a happy person. The hardest part? Teaching your body to feel the emotions of the future, even before you've actually experienced it. It's not enough to just imagine it. You need to feel it in your body too. If thoughts are the language of the brain, then feelings are the language of the body. Your body understands what your mind is telling it through feelings and emotions. If you don't feel anything, that means your body isn't getting the signal. It's like having a working internet connection, but not being able to connect because you turned off the Wi-Fi on your phone. As soon as you begin to feel the emotions of your thoughts, you reconnect to that internet and start downloading your future. What does this mean? Well, it means you don't have to wait for success to feel successful. You don't have to wait for wealth to feel abundant. You don't have to wait for a new relationship to feel love. According to the quantum model of reality, the moment you start to feel wealthy, you start creating wealth. The moment you feel valuable, you move towards your future. You're becoming the creator of your future. You're no longer a victim of the past, of someone else, or of a situation. Unfortunately, a lot of people today are victims of their own negative thoughts. And here's the thing, just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true. Just because you think something doesn't mean you have to act on it. On average, we think 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts every day. 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. And if your thoughts are shaping your destiny, then nothing's really changing. The same thoughts lead to the same choices lead to the same behavior, and the same behavior leads to the same experiences, which leads to the same emotions. That's why meditation is so important. Meditation helps you become aware of how you think, act, and feel. The more aware you are, the less likely those unwanted thoughts will slip through unnoticed. The word meditation means to become familiar with something. So when you start becoming familiar with the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of your old self, you stop letting them influence you. Instead, you start thinking new thoughts, feeling new emotions, and creating a new reality. And if you do this long enough, this new emotional state becomes your new normal. It's like planting a new garden. First, you have to clear out the weeds and rocks. Then you have to pull out the old plants and prepare the soil before you can plant something new. Meditation works the same way. It's a process of preparing your mind for a new reality. Training your body to meditate is like training a wild animal. You tell it to sit, but it runs away. You catch it, bring it back, and it runs off again. But every time you meditate, you're teaching your body to sit and be still. When you start meditating, your body will say, hey, it's time to check emails and get annoyed. But you're sitting, doing nothing. The body sends signals looking for that familiar, toxic state, even though it's not good for you. Every time you recognize this and focus on the present, you're telling your body that it's no longer in charge. You're the mind, and now your will is stronger than the program. If you keep this up, if you repeat this over and over, it'll eventually work. The body will surrender and energy will be released. You'll move from being solid matter to energy, and you'll free yourself from the emotional chains that have kept you stuck in the past. And if you stick with it, even for just 1 week, you'll begin to notice changes in your life. You'll catch yourself in the act of slipping back into your old, unhappy self, and you'll stop. The more you do this, the more your future reality becomes your present reality. Thanks for watching.